Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Let's get to the news. This past Sunday was a day that Browns fans will want to forget quickly, but it's also a moment that could serve as a wake-up call for Cleveland as they look ahead to the rest of the season. The Browns faced a tough challenge against the Chicago Bears, and unfortunately, things didn't go their way at all. It was a game that exposed some serious issues, especially in the performance of our young quarterback, SHEDEUR Sanders. Now, before we get into the gritty details, it's important to remember that SHEDEUR is still in the early stages of his NFL journey, and every young quarterback goes through ups and downs. But man, this game was a tough pill to swallow, especially considering how promising he's looked in previous starts. SHEDEUR's recent performances had given Browns fans hope, especially after a solid Week 14 against the Titans where he threw for over 360 yards and showed some real growth. You could see flashes of the potential that made us excited about drafting him. But on Sunday, that all seemed to vanish in a flash. The game was a complete disaster for him, and it's a performance that will be studied and analyzed for weeks to come. The Browns were thoroughly beaten, losing 31-3 to the Bears, and SHEDEUR was at the center of it all, struggling to find his rhythm, making poor decisions, and ultimately putting the team in a tough spot. From the start, it was clear that SHEDEUR was under pressure. The Bears' defense was relentless, and they sacked him 5 times, hitting him hard and often. He finished the game completing 18 of 35 passes for just 177 yards, with no touchdowns and 3 interceptions. That's a line that, frankly, no Browns fan wants to see, especially from a quarterback who has shown promise. The interceptions were particularly damaging because they were all bad throws, decisions that we've seen him avoid in previous weeks. It wasn't just bad luck. It was a series of mental errors that cost Cleveland dearly. The first interception came early in the third quarter, when Cleveland was still in the game at 14-3. Browns had moved the ball into Bears territory, but on 1st and 10 from the Chicago 17-yard line, SHEDEUR dropped back and tried to connect with Harold Fannin Jr. over the middle. The pass was tipped by DeMarco Jackson, who then opportunistically intercepted it. It was a poor decision by SHEDEUR, trying to force a pass into tight coverage, but you have to give credit to Jackson for making a great play. That turned into a huge momentum swing, and from there the Bears took control. Later in the game, the struggles continued. Despite Cleveland's efforts to stay in the game, SHEDEUR's mistakes kept piling up. Midway through the third quarter, after a Bears touchdown, the Browns responded with a promising drive, going 49 yards in just 4 plays. SHEDEUR went deep on 3rd and 9 from the Chicago 24-yard line, trying to connect with Jerry Jeudy on the right sideline. The pass wasn't terrible, but Jaylon Johnson made a fantastic play, stepping in and taking the ball right out of Jeudy's hands. That turnover was another blow to Cleveland's offensive momentum, and it ultimately led to more points for Chicago. And as if that wasn't enough, SHEDEUR's third interception came shortly after. On 2nd and 3 from Cleveland's 33-yard line, he attempted a deep pass to Harold Fannin Jr. Again, but this time C.J. Gardner-Johnson made a great play, reading the route perfectly and picking off the pass. It was another misjudged throw, but again, credit to Gardner-Johnson for the interception. That was a clear sign that SHEDEUR was struggling to read the defense and make smart decisions under pressure, which is critical for a young quarterback trying to find his footing in the NFL. The loss was glaring, and the stats reflect just how tough it was for SHEDEUR. For the season so far, he's completed just over 52% of his passes, with 6 interceptions against 5 touchdowns, and his passer rating has dipped below 70. A number Browns fans definitely don't want to see. His best game came in Week 14 against the Titans, where he threw for over 360 yards and 3 touchdowns, and even added a rushing touchdown. That performance gave us a glimpse of what SHEDEUR could be, but Sunday was a stark reminder that he still has a lot of growing to do. Looking at the bigger picture, the Browns are sitting at a crossroads. The team's defense, which was solid early in the season, has shown vulnerabilities lately, and the offensive struggles are becoming more apparent. The offensive line has had its moments, but the pressure on SHEDEUR has been relentless, and the offensive play calling needs to adapt better to protect him and create more opportunities. The coaching staff will have a lot to analyze this week, especially in how they help SHEDEUR bounce back from this rough outing. For Browns fans, it's easy to get discouraged after a game like this, but it's also important to keep perspective. SHEDEUR is still a rookie, and every young QB goes through these tough patches. The hope is that he learns from this, refines his decision-making, and comes back stronger. The Browns have a talented roster, and with some adjustments, they can turn this around. The AFC North is a tough division, but it's also a division where teams are vulnerable. And if Cleveland can tighten up and get SHEDEUR's confidence back, they can still make a serious push for the playoffs. One thing that's clear is that the Browns need to rally around SHEDEUR. The support from the fans, the coaching staff, and his teammates will be crucial as he works through this adversity. Young quarterbacks often face setbacks early in their careers, and it's how they respond that defines their future. Browns fans remember how Baker Mayfield and others faced similar challenges early on and eventually found their rhythm. SHEDEUR has the talent, but he needs to develop consistency and learn to avoid those costly mistakes. As we look ahead, the next game against the Bills will be another test. The Bills are a formidable opponent with a strong defense, and Cleveland will need to play smarter, protect the ball better, and give SHEDEUR more help. The offensive line will have to step up, and the play calling must be sharper. But more than anything, SHEDEUR needs to reset, learn from his mistakes, and regain his confidence. That's the key to turning this season around. The Browns have a lot to prove, and this game was a harsh reminder that no team is invincible. But Cleveland has the talent, the coaching, and the fan support to come back stronger. It's about resilience, about learning from setbacks, and about staying true to the process. SHEDEUR's journey is just beginning, and while this Sunday was a setback, it's also an opportunity for growth. Browns fans, we've seen what this team can do when firing on all cylinders, and with the right adjustments, the future is still bright. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Cleveland Browns news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So what's next for Cleveland? Well, the focus has to be on bouncing back. SHEDEUR needs to put this game behind him, learn from his mistakes, and regain his confidence. The coaching staff has to help him with better game plans, protect him more, and establish a run game that can take some pressure off the young QB. Defense, which has been a mixed bag lately, needs to step up and make more plays, especially against a team like the Bills that can put up points in bunches. Cleveland's season isn't over, far from it. Every game is a new opportunity to improve, to grow, and to show the league what Browns football is all about. The AFC North is still wide open, and a few wins in a row can turn everything around. The players, the coaching staff, and most importantly, the fans, we all have a role in this journey. We've seen flashes of greatness, and it's just about putting it all together. In the end, Browns fans, we must stay united, keep believing, and support our team through the good and the bad. SHEDEUR has the raw talent, and with experience, he will become a better quarterback. This game was tough, but it's also part of the process. We're in this for the long haul, and the road to the playoffs is still very much alive. The Browns have shown resilience before, and I believe they will do it again. The key is to learn, adapt, and come back even stronger next week. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news. Let's keep the faith, and together we'll get through this season, and who knows, maybe even make another run at the Super Bowl. Browns up.